Democrats certainly have a type. This is Justin Fairfax, or was Justin Fairfax. He was the next Obama. During the BLM hysteria of 2020, Justin Fairfax was the lieutenant governor of Virginia. Democrats tried to make him the governor of Virginia. He was going to be the next guy to run for president and take over 100 years of Democrat far left-wing rule in our nation. Well, that didn't last long because he killed himself and his wife in front of his kids. In his home, kind of the same fate as Barack Obama's chef, who mysteriously drowned even though he could swim and was a really good swimmer. He was paddleboarding, something you don't normally do if you're a bad swimmer. Here he is right there. Seems like a totally nice dude. He was a father, husband. He was right out here. This is like 6 foot deep water. How'd he die exactly? Nobody has ever explained this. He just disappeared. The Secret Service actually, you see this right there? That's the Secret Service guard tower. They watched him drown. You're telling me that nobody in the Secret Service couldn't swim? Like go out and help him or anything? Who was he paddleboarding with? None of these questions have been answered. Just mysterious death after mysterious death after mysterious death connected to the DNC power structure. Just like the former chef of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, who was found drowned. Why fix the playbook if it's working? This is the Walter Scheib. He was found drowned in New Mexico, up in the mountains. He was, cooking to kill. You know what I mean, right? #1 serial killer in all of the world. So why does this keep happening? We don't know. Body found at home of Squad member Ayanna Pressley. Now, Ayanna Pressley, you might think that she's like a total joke, but the Squad and Democrat socialists are having a moment, and they're gaining a lot of political power. And so Ayanna Pressley, who's a total libtard, she's married to felon. This dude's a felon. He served 10 years in federal prison for dealing drugs. Now he's married to Ayanna Pressley, who's newly bald. Wow. Exciting for them. Anyway, they own a house, and then a dead body just found in the house. Police were dispatched to the property in Boston's Matt Penn neighborhood shortly before 2 p.m. The property, dead body, was on the scene. Who's the body exactly? We're not sure. We covered this. We said, wow, what's going on here? Why are there so many dead bodies being found in connection with Democrat power brokers? And, let me tell you what. It's creepy what we found. So the dead body was found in a $1.1 million home owned by Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. Her husband is a con artist, drug dealer, and he served in federal prison for quite a while. And now we know that this is an 18-year-old young woman who was found here. And the family shares distressing details of her death. Yikes. Okay. So here's Yozolani Marte. She's identified as the woman found in the Boston home of Ayanna Pressley. Why would this 18-year-old be dead in the home? Looks like she lives a somewhat glamorous lifestyle, right? She's like hanging out in posh settings. Here is a school book photo of her. She's very young. So what the hell was going on here? Some type of like trafficking thing? We know Democrats are into that. I don't know. A young woman has been identified as the person found at the home by U.S. Congressman Pressley. Yozolani Marte was found by the police. She was fatally shot in the 8-bedroom, 4-bathroom Boston home. Officers had merely received a call to investigate a person when they arrived, and they discovered that she'd been shot. By who? Boston Police Department did not publicly name the victim. The young woman's family identified her. GoFundMe created. The fundraising page says that her daughter was killed as a result of domestic violence, but didn't provide more details. She died inside of the rental property owned by Pressley and her husband, who is a felon. The couple's realtor told the Boston Globe that the current tenants had been living at the home for a while and thought they had been confirmed, though it had not been confirmed that Marte was a resident. Oh. So, she says she didn't know any details about what occurred. She said it was unfortunate. Oh, it was unfortunate when an 18-year-old gets slaughtered in your house. The house was cordoned off the weekend with crime scene tape, and officers were standing at the door. The neighborhood is allegedly, this is not the first time that there's been active police presence at the rental property. She told the Globe the home was raided by police officers a month ago, and before it was listed for sale. The GoFundMe page, which organized to cover the cost of the funeral arrangement, said no words can truly express the loss of losing someone so young or her dreams. She added that her daughter was deeply loved by her friends, family, touched by her kindness. She'll never be forgotten. Pressley's congressional office covers much of the Boston area and emerged last year. Her husband raked in $350,000 after collecting rent from their properties. He also raked in a $2 billion contract to build a new courthouse. So the felon, who should frankly never be allowed to make any money again for the rest of his life because he served 10 years in prison. Like if you serve this time in prison, we're paying for your cell, your heating, your water, your food, your iPad, whatever, your workout equipment, the guards to guard you. If you've done that, you've cost the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars already. You should be forced to pay that back. So when you're out of prison, your wages should be garnished forever until you pay that back to society. That's the way that it should work. That's how a just society should work. This jackass shouldn't be able to go out and make $2 billion. He got a $2 billion contract to build, you're going to love it, a courthouse. They're getting this money to build a courthouse, the felon, who, listen, here's what I'm going to say. If you have, let's go ahead and look at the GoFundMe, okay? So if you have a history, here's the GoFundMe. It looks like they've raised almost $10,000 of the $16,000. Very sad. So it says that she, I guess it doesn't give. She's a result of domestic violence. No words can express. She was young. She had so many dreams. She was shot dead in Ayanna Pressley's house. Okay. So here's what I'll say. And I don't know anything about these people. But if you have a history in drug dealing and you serve 10 years for dealing drugs, then, I have a right to ask a question like, was this being used as a drug house? I lived in neighborhoods I lived right next to a known drug house. There's a bunch of felons that ran like a massive drug operation, and all the people in DC knew about it, and they were making an enormous amount of money. It's a messy business. It got very, very violent. I watched people get shot. I have Ring camera footage of people getting shot in my front yard. It's a messy business. So I've seen it myself. So is that he needs to be brought in, and they both need to be brought in and thrown under the hot lights of the police station and questioned. Was this a drug house? Mother seeks justice after 18-year-old daughter killed. We need like a absolute full-scale investigation here. See here now, they got like a little memorial set up and stuff. There needs to be a massive investigation. Was this being used? Like these kind of, it just happened in the middle of the night. Like she's there with her boyfriend and they're having a nice time and they just watch Netflix and they get popcorn, they get their jammies on, and they're about to go to bed, and then he just kills her. Nope, that's not how this happens. Not how it happens. Something else is going on here. This is creepy. Can you imagine if a dead teen with a gunshot wound were found living in a house owned by Don Jr., right? Eric Trump? Can you imagine? Like if it was any no-name congressman, doesn't even have to be like the most famous people. No-name Congressman Riley Moore from West Virginia. Like imagine if he owned a house and a bunch of dead teens shot to death were in it. It'd be the biggest story in the world. Democrats, it's complete silence. There needs to be a full-scale investigation in this. I smell a rat. There's something else going on here. They need to be questioned, okay? At the very least, given their history, they must be questioned severely as to whether you seize their phones, seize all their communications, see if they were running a drug operation. They're clearly corrupt. This is like the Ilhan Omar playbook, $30 million playbook. They're clearly corrupt. So let's find out. They're already running a fraud operation through her husband, right? Her husband contracting, gets all these plum deals because Ayanna Pressley is in Congress. So what is this? It's pure communist fraud and criminality. I smell a rat. The DOJ needs to investigate immediately. Like, share, and subscribe if you agree.